Hey, we are live! Yay! Oh, can I hear you say hello again, Yvette?
Okay. Hi. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, happy Sunday to you. And Yvette is freezing a little bit for me, but maybe it's only me. So, hello everyone. Oh, you're back. This is one of my greatest friends in the world, and her name is Yvette Pinla. And it's not often we get a conversation. For those that don't know Yvette, she is one of the people that that continuously reminds me how aware I am and how I can pick up other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And with that in mind, I asked her to do a live with me in regard to the education and the information of Access X-Men and what was Yvette's main challenge and what changed. So first of all, let me give some information. X-Men are people who are highly energetic. Some people might call them empaths. That's when they're putting their psychic abilities through the world and through people. And so you'll walk into a room, you'll feel people's pain, you'll perceive the energies in a room dynamically, and so dynamically you could get lost in those energies. And so the Access X-Men classes are classes to educate in all the, I'm going to say, this dynamic sphere of divergence, neurodivergence, differences, be that undiagnosed or diagnosed. I'm undiagnosed ADD. And so these tools have allowed both of us, number one, to be a strong force of support for each other in what we're aware of. And then number two, I suppose acknowledging that we are both very different and we have special abilities. And so what would you want? Someone who's on here and they're extremely sensitive to somebody's projection of what they have to fulfill. What would you say to them?
That it's actually an ability and a capacity. And wow, what would it be like if everyone stepped into that energy to really know it about themselves?
Totally.
Like growing up, I remember I was always aware of my mother, my father, my brother, anybody in the room. I was just never really aware of me.
That's such an X-Men thing, is that we'll be so aware of everybody else's needs and wants and what they require. And then we'll completely dismiss what we require because we're so used to picking up on other people's needs, wants, and desires. And I do want to say that's not a wrongness. That's actually because most of us make it wrong, and we go like, oh, I pick up on other people's wants, needs, and desires, and then I have to separate. No, you don't. What if you could actually allow yourself to be aware of people's needs, wants, and desires? And then if I'm aware of them, I actually have a choice whether I fulfill your need or not. Whereas for me, I used to do like some weird things with maybe I have to separate myself and put myself away over here in a corner or in a house so that I won't be as sensitive to energies. But actually, that didn't work because it's not by it's not by isolating me. I'm still going to be aware. I'm going to have to like there comes a point, which is every point for me, where you get to deal and handle what you're aware of and work it to your advantage.
I love it. The quieter it is, you're like, oh yeah, now I'm aware of somebody else in another state, in another country. You can't turn it off.
Yeah, and you can't turn it off. It's so true. It's not turn offable. And I would say the big thing. Okay, so one of the things that myself and Yvette have with each other is we're super telepathic, okay, and we can actually communicate without actually having to talk. So I'll be like,
It's quite a time saver.
Oh, it's epic in that I adore that we can talk about this like on Easter Sunday, because we're so, our relationship is so out of form, structure, significance. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to Croatia and I need a place to stay. Like as I go into bed at 12 o'clock at night on European time. And then I'll wake up the next morning and Yvette will be like, well, I got us an Airbnb in Croatia. How does
It's really close by, just what you like.
and and what I love about that is I'll say to you, I was looking at this last night, and you'll be like, well, you may not be cognitively aware of it, but you're extremely aware of me. And the way that we're aware of each other actually works for us. I know when you'll require a call. I mean, I'm pretty sure one time I called you, which is really funny, and I was like, I have to call her, and you had cut your finger. Remember, you'd cut your finger with
Yes.
the knife in the dishwasher, and I was
Yes.
like, and I had called you like just, and it was so funny. I was like, who's coming over? Who's supporting you? Who's helping you?
Um, it was the best.
It really is. And so I would say you you can have relationships with people who will dismiss what you're aware of or reject you and not receive you. And for you and for me, for both of us, that was very, I'm going to say, like prominent in our relationship. Um, in that you would expect me to reject you. We're getting into the deep relationship stuff now, folks.
I
You
do have to say, there's still times where I still have that expectation.
and so that's a hangover really of being around people that do not receive what you're aware of. And one of the things that I'm looking to create with the Access X-Men education information is you to break the cycle of you rejecting you because other people rejected you. Because what occurred for me, Yvette, is when I started to receive myself, and I'm going to say, like, energetically, like the awareness that I'm functioning from, and that it's not linear. I'll know when to call someone, I'll know when to walk down the street, I'll know when to, like, the timing of things,
You know how to pick really awesome restaurants.
Yeah, I'm epic.
Good.
Yeah, no matter where I go in the world, boom. and so it's been so lovely to, when I received myself and the level of awareness that I'm functioning from energetically, not from this cognitive thinking linearity point of view, the way people who have received me have shown up, then it's quite miraculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I love what you said. It's like you rejecting you, and it was like, whoa, like, because you're used to other people rejecting you.
Yeah.
But you're like, wow, I am rejecting myself. Like, that doesn't feel good either.
Yeah, that feels like crap, to be honest. And so, yeah, you were going to say something.
And just to be like, to acknowledge that. I love how you're always acknowledging all the gifts, capacities. Like I might say something and you're like, it's a gift. And then I'll be like, wow, it is. I just love that. I just love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. When you don't reject yourself and what you're energetically aware of, everything can change for you. And I have this, I'm going to your part of the world. Well, not necessarily your part of the world, but I'm going over the pond, as we say. I'm going from Europe to Toronto. And next week, Yvette has done many X-Men classes, Access X-Men classes. And I'm doing the first live class in Toronto. Are you losing yourself to the insanity that you're aware of in the world? And I'm just, I would say that I'm just so enthusiastic to get these tools out into the world, because most people who are aware of energy and energetic awarenesses, and they perceive things in a different way, other people don't receive them because they're like, you can't be aware of this, or you can't do this. Yes, I can talk to my friend who lives 3,000 miles away. We do it all the time without picking up the phone, you know? Um, and so what occurs is the hangover of that is people dismiss what they're aware of and they negate it. And this can be tiny things like, I remember going somewhere recently and my body was like, bring an umbrella and a raincoat, you know? And I dismissed it, and I got there, and of course,
You required one.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
ready.
And so I was like, how come that I dismissed what my body knew I required? Because we haven't been educated to know that we're aware of the future, we're aware of what the weather is going to be, you know? And it's like all those moments where you dismiss what you're aware of energetically. What if now is the time to acknowledge what you are perceiving, what you are aware of, and really develop your capacities and your abilities? And this class that I'm doing in Toronto is to educate people on, number one, we both have got completely lost in other people's realities.
Oh my goodness. I love that now it's more just a different awareness. Like I can be me. I can be completely aware of the energy that's available because it's just available. And like I don't have to become that person. I don't have to step into their world. I can like just observe and be like, okay, with no effect to my
Yeah,
world.
yeah, because I would go into their world and I would like try and figure it out, try and understand it, get lost in it, trying to make them happy. And now I really have developed the ability to be present with receiving the information of what they're choosing, where they're functioning from, and then having a choice for me, choosing what's life for me. And so if you're out there and you're extremely quick, you extremely get lost in other people's realities, we just want to say like that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing right about that. It's just, we're so, as X-Men, we are so fast at downloading information, and we haven't been even trained to recognize how fast we download information. And so the route to having more of you is getting present with what you're perceiving. We teach all these tools in the X-Men classes. Get present with what you're perceiving. Get present with acknowledging what is light for you is true, what's heavy is a lie, which is huge. And then get present with you actually have a choice to go into perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving, which is really where the true magic of your miraculous, magnificent abilities lie. And is it wildly different? Yes.
Yes, it is. You really have to be willing to be you and just be the magic that you truly are. Really.
Yeah. And I would say not to make that magic wrong, or I know for me things can be like really fast and easy, just like total magical. And
Yeah.
funnily enough, they're the places that I have refused and resisted myself the most,
Yeah.
because somewhere
Because
along the road, I made somebody else's point of view and belief about life being tough and life being hard more valuable than my reality to ask and receive, and just be like do 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 like a magical fairy.
and just like I think times when I've really rejected just being magic and instantaneous and like knowing what I know. Just being aware of the judgment or the even the attack, that what I can perceive as an attack on myself, but on just being that potent.
Yeah. And I guess like we'll talk about this way more, you know, the way people people do want to have their fixed point of view and their judgment, and they want you to align and agree with their point of view. And when you're energetic, you will perceive that projection of, well, you have to have the same point of view as me and you have to follow in this judgment. And as my daughter my daughter said, we had a very untraditional Easter, you know. My eldest daughter is in Ireland playing in a tennis tournament. My two younger kids, which you both know, are in Toronto at football matches. I'm in the UK in my new home. And so we've come away from the farm and the structure and what we're supposed to choose. And now we have this like super beautiful relationship where I said to my daughter, how are you about our Sundays being different to what they were 10 years ago? She's like, I'm really happy. I have choice. I can go put my attention on what brings me joy is playing tennis. You know, she loves tennis tournaments. And so it's a very different journey. It's a very different way of living beyond the farm, the structure, the significance. It's actually about choice, and it really is about allowing someone to live in a way that works for them and supporting them to make choices that work for them. You know, it might not necessarily be your choice, but that doesn't mean that I have to be superior and tell another person to choose the same way of working or being in relationship as the way that I choose. This is about everyone having a choice to choose what they essentially, the way that they would like to live. Not making most of the X-Men that I have worked with, they have this very destructive point of view, which is just because I'm different, I'm wrong. No, just because you're different, you are not wrong. Just because you're different, you have the strength of a new perspective, and you can have that perspective in our world, and you are allowed to have your point of view.
That is so beautiful. I love that space that you are, like with everyone around you. Like it's so refreshing. It's so different. It's just so caring, so caring to give everyone the space that they are as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I'm going to finish on this. The most fun for me, what as an X-Men in relationships, is seeing my friends OCD. in So we all have these places where we like things done a particular way. And I mean, like, Yvette is OCD to the max about her house, which cracks me up, and I love it, you know. And so I'll have friends that have like a particular OCD in the way that their houses are. Yvette loves to have like lots of drinks and lots of food, you know. And then you'll have me OCD in a completely different other place, you know, about timings and and one of the most beautiful things is, instead of making the OCD wrong or the characteristics of these like ADD, autistic, you know, this neurodivergent way of being, instead of making any of that wrong, we actually like celebrate it and usually laugh our asses off at the places where we are completely OCD.
So true. And it's been so much fun to be that with you. Like it's just it yeah, like it immediately you just said that word and it triggered my laughter. Like that's how we are with each other. We're always laughing like that. Like
Yeah.
like to the point of tears laughing.
Totally, totally. So, folks, if you wanna change direction and, you know, I guess like interrupt the pattern of getting lost in people's worlds or people's pain or people's thoughts or people's wants, needs, and desires, and you're looking for some like kick-ass tools to find your reality and to find what lights you up and what brings you joy. I invite you to the class in Toronto. It is April 26th, which is next Saturday night in Toronto. Yay! Exactly. There will be Prosecco. Yvette's like, why am I not there? That's another thing with Yvette. She has to have Prosecco and champagne in her fridge. It's one of her OCD things, which I respect. So we invite you in this wild, wonderful journey, and for you to live as the joy that you truly be, and really, I guess, like, access what is true for you as a being, your magic, your miraculousness, and actually start to have a living that lights you up, instead of, for me, years ago when I didn't have the tools, I would perceive sadness, or I would perceive like the way it has to be Easter Sunday, and I would be like, oh, and the emotion would, like, I'd perceive the emotion so big that it would be bigger than life. You perceive sadness and you're like, oh, whereas now I'm like, I actually have tools for this, Beautiful. Thank you for always giggling and laughing, and thank you for being a wild adventurer, a global wild adventurer.
For always being there and for your friendship. I'm so grateful for you.
And I would say, to finish this live, I certainly do require relationships where my wacky, wild, different self is respected, supported. It is when I have that level of, I'm going to say, like, of support, it really supports me to make choices that allow me to live greater. I would say relationship, I had relationships that, you're wrong, this is the way you should be, this is what you should be doing, and that really had a massive effect on my relationship with myself. And through having relationships that support me to know what I know and have fun and have play, it's just changed the terrain of my way of living, really.
I'm still stepping into more with relationships, with my relationship with myself, my body, as my dress keeps popping.
Yvette actually went and got dressed up for the live, folks, and her dress was popping. So we had a little giggle before we came on. Oh, hang on a second. FYI, we're not perfect.
Yes, we are not.
And I am okay with that. It is no fun to be perfect. We hope this live contributed to you wherever you are in the world. Have a beautiful Sunday. And what if you could create a living that is a gift to you, a gift to your body, and in allowing it to be a gift to you, also it allowed your life force to be a gift to the universe.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. So that's it, folks. I'll put the link in the thread, and I want to sing like, all you need is love. Da, 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 da. Happy Sunday and happy living, and see you soon somewhere in the world. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. I'll see you in Prague.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah.